sorry for not uploading myself video because I am not consistent too much. I don't know which type of person I am. I have time also, but I am not consistent to any work, like not to study, not to game, not to study, reading book. But I want to I want to try to upload daily video, but there will be too much procrastinations having with me. So now today I will start with my cup of black coffee, and it's now 10:39 a.m. in the morning. I woke up at 10 o'clock. I don't know, I sleep at 1 a.m., but I during this time I have to wake up at 6 or 7 a.m. because it's my grinding month. If I am not grind properly, I will not get blessed. So I don't think so why I am not serious about my placements, because I have no any pleasure, no any internal happiness from doing coding. But who one care about you? How what you feel from inside, you know? So you have to keep focus on coding. Don't even no one anyone can want to study or study hard or learning new skills. All wants to taking rest and got more money. But I talk to my mind. You have to work hard for replacement. Otherwise, you go with empty hand to your home. And I know when I go empty hand, it's very disaster. So from today I think I try to work consistent. And let's start with same book which is called Mindset. Today I will start from chapter 1 and reading either full book, full chapter 1 or 10 pages of chapter of this book. So the next page will start from, my camera is not able to focus on the page, so sorry. But the page number is 4 and I have to study till 14th page. Sorry, starting from 3 I have to study till 13th page. Means I have to study full one chapter. So let's begin by having black coffee with me and starting. The mindset. When I was a young researcher, just starting out, something happened that changed my life. I was obsessed with understanding how people cope with failure, and I decided to study it by watching how student grapples with hard problems. So I brought children one at a time, so to a room in their school, made them comfortable, and then gave them a series of puzzles to solve. The first ones was fairly easy, but the next ones were hard as the students grunted, perspired, and toiled. I watched the tragedy and probed what they were thinking and feeling. I expected difference among children in how they cope with difficulty, but I saw something I never expected. Confronted with hard puzzles, one 10-year-old boy pulled up his chair, rubbed his hands together, smacked his lips, and cried out, I love a challenge. Another, sweating away on this puzzle, looked up with a pleased expressions and said with authority, you know, I was popping would be informative. What's wrong with them? I wondered. I always thought you coped with the failure. You did not cope with failure. I never thought anyone loved failure. where there's alien children or where they own something. Everyone has a role model, someone who pointed the way at a critical moment in their life. The children were my role models. They obviously knew something I did not. I was determined to figure it out, how to understand the kindest could turn a failure into a gift. Why did they know? They knew a human quality such in a technical skills could be cultivated, and what they were doing getting smarter. Not only were they discouraged by failure, but they did not even think they were failing. They thought they were learning. I, on the other hand, thought human qualities were carved in stone. You were smart or were not, and the failure meant you were not. It was the simples. If you could arrange the success and avoid failure at all cost, you could stay smart. Struggle, mistake, perseverance were just not a part of the picture. Whether human quantities are things that can be cultivated or that are kept in stones and old issue. What these beliefs mean for you? Sorry guys, it's morning. In is a new one. What are the consequences of thinking that your intelligence or personality is something you can develop or opposed to something that is fixed, deep seated trait? Let's first look in on the age-old fiercely watched debate out about human nature and the return to the questions of what this belief means for you. Why do people differ? Since the dawn of the time, people have thought differently, acted differently, and fared differently from each other. It was guaranteed that someone would ask the question why people differed, why some peoples are smarter or more moral, and whether there was a something that made them permanently different. Experts lined up both the sides. Some claimed that there was a strong physical basis of this difference, making them unavoidable and unalterable. Through the ages, these alleged physical differences have included bumps on the skull, the size and the shape of the skull's chronology than today's gene. Other pointed to a strong difference in the people background, experience, training, or way of learning. It may surprise you know that a big champion of the view was Alfred Binet, the inventor of the IQ test. Was not the IQ test means to summarize the children unstable intelligence. In fact, no Binet, a Frenchman working in Paris in the early 20th century, designed this test to identify children who were not profiting from the Paris public schools so the new education program could be designed to get them back on track. Without denying individual differences in the children's intellects, he believed that education and the practice could bring about fundamental changes in intelligence. Here is a quote from one of the major books, Modern Ideas About Children, in which he summarized his work with hundreds of children and learning difficulties. A few modern philosophers assert that individual intelligence is a fixed quantity, a quantity which cannot increase. We must protest and react against this brutal pessimism with the practice, training, and above all method. We manage to increase our attentions, our memory, our judgment, and literally to become more intelligent than we were before. Who's right? Today, most experts experts agree that it's not either or. It's not nature to nurture genes or environment from the conceptions on there a constant give and take between the two. In fact, Gilbert Gottlieb, an eminent neuroscientist, put it not only do genes and environments cooperate as we develop, but genes require input from the environment to work properly. At the same time, scientists and learning candidates people have more capacity for lifelong learning, the brain development than they ever thought of. Course, each person has a unique genetic endowments. People may start their different temperaments and the different aptitude, but it's clear where Robert Steinberg's the present day guru of intelligence write that the measure factor in whether the people's achieve expertise is not be fixed wi- prior ability but the forceful engagements or and his mother Bennett recognized it's not always the people who start out smartest who ends up with smartest. What does all the means for you? The two mindsets. In one thing, to have pundits spouting their opinions about scientific issues. In another thing, to understand how this view apply to you. For 30 years, my research has shown that the view of adopt for yourself profoundly affect the way of you lead your life. It can determine whether you become the person you want to be and whether you accomplish things you value. How does this happen? How can a simple belief have the power to transform your psychology and as a result your life? Believing that your qualities are carved in stones, the fixed mindset creates an urgency to prove yourself over and over. If you have only a certain amount of intelligence, a certain personality, and a certain moral character, well, then you do better prove that you have healthy dose of them. Its simplicity would not to do look or feel deficiency in the most basic characteristics. Some of us trained in the mindsets from an early age. Even as a child, I was focused on being smart, but the fixed mindset was really stamped in my Mr. Wilson's, my sixth grade teachers. Unlike Alfred Binet, she believed that the people's IQ score told whole story of who they were and were seated around the room in IQ order, and the only the highest IQ student could have been trusted to carry the flag, clap the erasers, or take notes on the principal. Aside from the daily stomach she walked and their judgment stance, he was creating a mindset in which everyone in the class had consumed a goal: look smarter, don't look dumb. Who cared about the enjoyed learning when your whole being was at stake every minute time she gave us a test or called on us in class? I have seen so many people with this one consuming goal of proving themselves in the classroom, in their careers, and in the relationship. Every situation is called a confirmations of which intelligence, personality, or character. Every situation is evaluated. Will I succeed or fail? Will I look smarter or dumb? Will I accept or rejected? Will I feel like a winner or a loser? But doesn't our society value intelligence, personality, and character? Is not it normal you want to just trade? Yes, but there's another mindset is will in which these traits are not simply a hand you are dealt and have to live with, always trying to convince yourself and others that you have a royal flush when you are secretly worried it's a pair of tens. In this mindset, the hand you are dealt is just a starting point of a development, and the growth of mindset is based on the belief and your basic qualities are things you can cultivate through your effort, your strategies, and the help from other. Although peoples may differ in every which way in their initial talents and aptitudes, interested or temperature, everyone can change and grow through the applications and experience. Do peoples with this mindset believe that anyone can anything and that anyone with proper motivations or educations can become Einsteins or with no win? No, but they believe that a person of true potential is unknown and unknowables, that is impossible to forest that what can be accomplished with years of patience, toils, and training. Did you know the drawings and the Tolstoy were considered ordinary children? That's Ben Hogan's, one of the greatest golfers of all time, was completely uncoordinated and graceless as a child. That a photographer, Cindy Sermons, who has been on a virtually even list of the most important artists and the 20th century, felt her first photography course that Gradline pays one of our greatest actors was advised to give it up for lack of talent. You can see how the belief that cherished qualities can be developed creates passion for learning. Why waste time proving over and over how great you are and when you could be getting better? Why hide differences instead of overcome them? Why look out for your friends or partner who will just soar up your self esteem instead of one who will also challenge you to grow? And why seek put the tired and the true instead of experiences that will stretch you? The patience or stretching yourself and sticking to it even or especially when it's not going well, is the hallmark of the growth mindset. This is the mindset that allow people to thriving during some of the most challenging time in their life. A view from the two mindsets to give you a better sense of how the two mindsets work. Imagine as vividly as you can that you are a young adult having a really bad day. One day you go to the class that is really important to you and the you like a lot. The professor returned the midterm papers to class and you got a C plus plus. You are very disappointed. Then evening on the way back to your home and you find that you have gotten a parking ticket. Being really frustrated, you call your best friend to share your experience but are sorted and the burst off. Would you think? What would you feel? What would you do? When I asked people with a fixed mindset, this is what they said. I do feel like a reject. I am a total failure. I am an idiot. I am a loser. I do feel worthless and dumb. Everyone better than me. I am slime. In the other words, they do see what happened as a direct measure of their competences and worth. This is what they think about their lives. My life is pitiful. I have no life. Somebody upstairs does not like me. The world is out to get me. Someone is out to destroy me. Nobody loves me. Everybody hates me. Life is unfair. All efforts are useless. Life stinks. I am stupid. Nothing good ever happens to me. I am the most unlucky person on the earth. Excuse me, was there death and destructions, or just a grade, a ticket, and a bad phone call? Are there just people with low self esteem or card carrying pessimists know when they are not coping with the failures they feel just worth and optimistic and bright attractive as people with growth mindset. So would how would they cope? I would not bother to put so much time and efforts in doing well anything measure. You can do nothing, stay in bed, get drunk, eat yells at someone if you get chance to eat chocolate, listen to music and pout. Go into my closet and sit there, pick a fight and with somebody, cry, break some things where it's there to do. What is there to do? When I wrote this vision it and intentionally made the grade a C plus plus, not a F. It was a midterm rather than a final. It was a parking ticket, not a car wreck. They were sorted a burst of not rejected outright. Nothing catastrophic and irreversible happened. Yet from this raw material, the fixed mindset created their feeling utter failures and the paralysis. When I give people with the growth mindset the same vignette, hear what they said, they think I need to try harder in a class, be more careful when parking the car, and wonder in my friend had a bad day. The C plus would tell me I do have to work a lot harder in the class, but I have the rest of semester to pull up my grade. There were many more like this, but I think you get this idea now. How would you they cope directly? I'd start thinking about studying harder or studying in different way for text in class I do play the tickets and do work things out with my best friend the next time we speak. I do look at the what was the wrong on my exam, resolve to do better, pay my parking tickets and call my friends to tell her I was upset the day before, work harder on my the next paper, speak to the teachers and be more careful where I park or contest the tickets and find out what the wrong with my friends. You don't have to have one mindsets on the other to be upset who would not be things like a poor grade or a rebuff from a friend and loved, and these are the some fun events no one is smacking their lips in the release, yet those people with growth mindsets were not labeling themselves selfless and throwing up their hands even though they felt distressed. They were ready to take the risk, confront the challenge, and keep working in them. So, what's new is such a novel idea. We have lots of saying that stress, the importance of risk, and the power of persistence, such as nothing returns, nothing gains. And you, if you are first, you are not success, try again. Or Rome was not built a day. By the way, I was delighted to learn that the Italians have same expressions. What is the truly amazing is that people with a fixed mindset would not agree. For them, it's nothing ventures l- lost if they don't succeed. You probably don't. Having the ability, if Rome was not built in a day, maybe was not meant to be. In another word, risk and efforts are two things that might reveal your inadequacies and so that you are not up the risk. In fact, it's startling to see the degree of which profile with the fixed mindset do not believe in putting in efforting to getting help. What also new in that people's ideas about risk and effort grow out of their more basic mindsets. It's not just that some people happen to recognize the value of challenging themselves and the importance of an effort. Our research has been shown that this come directly and the growth mindset when we teach people that growth mindset with the focus on development these ideas about challenge and effort follow similarly. It's not just that some people happen dislike challenge and the effort when we temporarily put people in the fixed mindset with a focused permanent traits. They quickly fear challenge and they value efforts. We often see books with titles the 10 secret of the world most successful people's crowding to shelves of bookstores, and these books may give many useful tips, but they are usually list unconnected pointers that take more risks and believe in yourselves while you are left admiring people who can do that. It's never clear how these things fit together or how could you overcome the way. So you're inspired for a few, but basically the world most successful still have their secret. Instead, as you begin to understand the fixed and the growth mindset, you will see exactly how one thing leads to another. How a belief you can qualities can carve in stone leads in the host of thoughts and actions, and how a belief that your quality can be cultivated leads to hordes of different thoughts and action taking you down an entirely different road. It's that what a psychological call a experience. Not only I have seen in this in my research when we teach people a new mindset, but I get later all the time from people who have read my work. They recognize themselves as I tried your article. I literally found myself saying over and over again, is me, this is me, this is the connections. Your article completely below and me. I felt I had discovered the secret of universe. They feel their mindsets reventings. I can certainly report a kind of personal revolutions happening in my own thinking, and this is an exciting feeling. And they can put this new thing into practice of themselves and another. Your work has allowed to me transform my work with children and education thought a different lens, or I just wanted to let you know what an impact on a personal and a party practical level your outstanding research had been hundred of a student. I most of these letter from coaches and the business leader to self inside who has the accurate view for their assets and limitations. Well, maybe the people with growth mindset don't think they are Einstein and the Beethoven, but are not they more likely to have inflated views of their ability and try for things they are not capable of. In fact, studies show people are variables and estimating their abilities. Recently, we set out to see who is most likely to do. Sure, we found the people's greatly misestimated and their performance and ability, but it was not with the fixed mindset who accounted for almost all the inaccuracy. The peoples with a growth mindset were amazingly accurate. When you think about it, it makes sense. It's feel like those with the growth mindset you believe you can develop yourself then you have open to accurate informations about the current abilities even if they're unflattering. What more if you are oriented towards learning as they are you needed accurate information about your current abilities in order to learn efficiently. However, if everything is either good news or a bad news about your precious traits, as it's with a fixed mindset, people's distortion all inventory enters the picture. Some of outcomes are magnified, others are explained away, and before you know it, you don't know yourself at all. Howard Gardner in this book Extraordinary Minds in conclude that exceptional individuals have a special talent for identifying their own strength and weakness. It's interesting that those with the growth mindset seems to be have the talent. What is in store, the other thing exceptional people seem to have in a special talent for converting life setbacks into the future success. Creativity researchers concurs in poll of 143 creativity researchers. There was wide agreement about the number of ingredients in creative achievement, and it's exactly the kind of perseverance and the resilience produced by the growth mindset. You may asking again, how can one belief lead to all this? The love of challenge, believe in efforts, resilience in the face of setbacks, and the greater creative success. In this chapter that follow, you will see exactly how this happens, how the mindset change, what people strive what what they see as the success, how they change the definitions of significance and impact of failure, and how they change the deep sets meanings of effort. You will see how these mindsets to play out in schools, in sports, in the workplace, and in relationship. You will see where they can come from and how they can be changed. Now the chapter has been over, and we go with some grow your mindset key points. So let's which mindsets do you have? Answer the questions about intelligence. Read each statement and decide whether you mostly agree or disagree. Your intelligence is something very basics about you can't change very much. You can learn new things but not can't really change how intelligent you are. No matter how change intelligence you have can't always change quite bit. You can always substantially change how intelligent you are. Question 1 and 2 are the fixed mindset question 3 and 4 reflect the growth mindset. Which mindset do you agree or more it you can be mixture of but more people lean towards one or another. You have also believe in about ability you could substitute artistic talent sports ability business skill or intelligence try it. So it's mostly it's not a key point it's question. So it's half an hour video. Sorry for this because I have to complete this chapter because I need consistency in my life. So sorry to not uploading video. I think I have to upload take video also in different challenge or a shorts which I know every day. So drop your suggestion in comment. What should I do and how work hard in during my placements? What is the really hard work means? So I have no any mentor, no any bhaiya, no any teacher to guide me. Just from the market scenario, I was doing hard work according to them. I solve DSA, I do projects, and that's it is. So thank you for watching till here.